Thank you for tuning in to Drive the Lightning, the positively charged EV channel.
We're going to talk about a few things this week. We're going to talk about Aptera. We've got some questions straight from Google that we're going to answer to the best of our ability.
Yeah, Google, we know the answers.
Yeah, ask us. Don't ask Google. Ask us. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit, too, about EV driving in general. Like, we've been with our EV now 3 years. Some of you that listen to our channel or watch our channel have not yet driven your first EV. There's some things that you're going to want to know about.
You're in for a treat.
You're in for a treat.
But you should be prepared for this treat.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's just get right to work, Sarah.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Always.
Okay, so here's the questions that when I went to Google this morning and I said, does Aptera or will Aptera or can Aptera? And then I let it Google autofill because that gives me a good idea of what Google thinks I want to know because what other people have been searching.
Mm-hmm.
So one, is Aptera legit?
It's too legit,
Oh,
as a
stop.
matter of fact.
So I don't know
Okay.
what you mean, this young people slang. I assume it means legitimate.
I'm not sure that's young people slang anymore.
Younger people than us
Yeah,
slang.
that's true.
So is Aptera legitimate? So we could sort of answer that, I think, Sarah, having flown from Grand Rapids, Michigan to San Diego, California. And
Yeah.
then we got off the plane, we got in our rental car, and we drove to Aptera, and there was nothing there.
It was a wasteland.
Completely
There was a
illegitimate,
tumbleweed.
totally just an internet company.
There's a tumbleweed
Yeah.
blowing by.
No, actually, there
No.
was a huge factory floor
Yes.
and a huge office complex.
Yes,
and
of which we were given a tour.
a master tour.
Yes, a master tour, an insider tour. It was cool. We got to go through the roped off area so
Yeah,
we could get a
fancy.
VIP
Super
tour. That
fancy.
was really cool.
And we sat in 2 iterations of Aptera, the Alpha prototype
Yep.
and the Gamma prototype,
Yes.
which is the latest physical rolling operating prototype of the
Yes.
Aptera.
Yes,
Met
and
the CEO.
we got to go for a ride on the road with the
Street
Alpha.
legal Aptera.
Yeah, so we actually drove down California highways in the Aptera. So
So if you want to know, is it legit, as in does it exist? Yes.
yes,
If you're asking another question, which I don't know what would be, is it legitimate? Like, is it, I don't know, could that be a word for cool? Is it legit? Is that a cool thing?
oh, it's legit.
So is it legit? Sarah, you rode in the Aptera. What's your first impression?
It's legit.
It's legit.
So legit.
We just don't talk that way. But
Yeah.
why do you say that?
I'm-
Describe your ride in the Aptera.
It was really otherworldly. So I don't know, but does that make it less legit? I mean, it's like a little space shuttle that you get in and it goes down the road and it's very quick, really good pickup speed. I was not driving it, or I would have probably given it its own kind of moose test if because I don't know. No, I didn't want to.
Well, let me just ask you some questions. Okay, they
Ask me
want to
some
know, is
questions.
it legitimate? So
Yes.
let's start with space. Was it comfortable to sit in the Aptera? Did you have headroom? Were your knees up against your chin? What was the space like?
I was very comfortable in the cabin. Now I am short, so but there was, in fact, one of the questions when we were there for the reveal of Gamma was, will there be a tow board for people like us who are short? Because you kind of sit back in the seat and then your legs have plenty of room to go in front of you, but if you're short like me, and your legs have too much room, then it can be, you need something to kind of rest your foot against. So that was one of the questions that was asked by some other participants there. Is there going to be a tow board? So I don't actually know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I think it was yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a bring your own tow board. BOTB. Bring BYOTB. Bring your own tow board. So another question.
Okay.
So headroom, plenty of headroom for you.
Plenty of headroom.
Okay,
Yes.
and I'm less short than you. I'm not tall, but I had plenty of headroom also. Plenty of side-to-side room, which is important for
Yes.
Michigan people like us.
Yeah.
So then when you're in it,
More room than an airplane seat.
Oh, now that's a low bar.
Well, I flew first class one time. I mean, not on purpose, but they called me up to first class, which was awesome.
You're so rich.
I felt rich. It was fantastic. I asked
Got
for
the best snacks.
I
in
asked
first
for a
place. You
club
get great
soda, which
snacks.
I usually do on the plane because I'm too nervous to drink caffeine. And in first class, they said, "Would you care for lime with that?" And they gave me a little fresh slice of lime. I felt so indulged.
You can ask for
was
a drink,
fantastic.
orange juice in first class, and they'll say with or without vodka, and it's no extra charge.
Champagne.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to what we're
Yes.
actually talking about, which is not that. Plenty of room is
Yes.
what we took away.
Yes.
So now when you got in it, the driver was the guy from marketing, Chris.
Chris.
And did Chris just kind of roll through
That's
25,
Chris McCammon.
30, 35, 40 mile an hour? Or what was the ride actually like? Wait a minute. Was it legit?
It was legit. Chris demonstrated the quick pickup, which I am used to since we drive an EV, and it is the quickest, most responsive little car that we have ever had. So the Aptera, I wasn't surprised that it had quick pickup, but also it had quicker pickup.
Yeah.
Now I did ask Chris for the PG version of the speed test because I'm a little thrill averse.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't want to be, terrified out
He
of
gave
my
me
mind.
the
Unedited
unabridged version of the quickness. And interesting, the Alpha prototype is the two-wheel drive variety, not the much quicker all-wheel drive variety
Right.
that the launch edition, the first Aptera solar EV produced, will be. So when I got in it, it was super, super quick and fast. What about stability? It's a three-wheeled vehicle. Did you feel like it was going to tip over as he's going through them corners in Carlsbad, California?
I would never, if you had blindfolded me and sat me down in the cabin, I would never have guessed at the end of the ride that I was riding in a three-wheel vehicle. There was nothing to make me feel like I wasn't in a traditional car, but more like a sports car. Because like I said, you get in and you kind of sit back like you do in a Corvette instead of like sitting on a school chair.
But not as low, thank goodness, as a Corvette.
No.
You don't climb down into it like a Corvette.
Right.
And you feel like at our age, you don't always know that might be the last place you ever sit. Because getting out of those
we just
things,
may not get out.
yeah, you got to pretty much call the fire department.
Yeah,
You
I'm going to
know.
need my meals brought in
Yeah,
from now on.
Hello, this is Chad. My cat's in a tree. Also, I'm stuck in my
can't get
car.
out of my Corvette.
Yeah. So while you're here anyway, bring them jaws of life, and let's get
Yes.
this thing rectified and get that cat. Okay, so it's stable. It's
Yes.
spacious.
Yes.
It's fast. It's weird looking. It's comfortable to get in and out of. That's another thing. Is it legitimate? Because the door goes all up crazy like a
Yeah.
Lamborghini or something. People like it hard to get out of. I didn't find it at all difficult to get in and out of.
I did not either. And the door kind of goes up. I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't feel like I was going to hit my head on it. Now, I have hit my head on the back hatch of your mom's BMW i3. I've hit my head on the bar across the top getting into the i3 and out of the i3. And I've hit my head on the trunk part of our Nissan Leaf. So
What is it you're doing? You're just walking around testing the strength of stuff with your forehead.
not
You
intentionally.
hit the head here, hit the
But
head
I'm
here.
happy to say, in every time I've ridden in Aptera or sat in one, I have not hit my head. So coincidence? You decide.
Okay, so it's legitimately not going to cause Sarah severe head injury. So another thing people might think when they say, is it legitimate? Is it legit? Because it's not in full production yet.
Right.
The tooling's being cut. The plans are being made for the suppliers. I think a lot of that, if not all of that, is in place. There's been a lot of testing going on with every single part. You can imagine the wiring harness, the suspension, all the testing is going on. So then, is it legitimate is it going to be produced?
Sure hope so.
Sure hope so. And just this past week, not too long ago, Sandy Monroe, if you don't know him, he probably doesn't know you either, so you shouldn't feel too bad.
Yeah.
But he's a efficiency expert in the automotive industry who works with Aptera on this project. And he said they expect the first ones to come off in September off the line.
Right.
So is Aptera legit? Sarah, final answer, legitimate?
Yes.
Yeah, on all accounts.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, let's move on to something different than that. Does Aptera qualify for a tax credit?
Ooh, good question.
Okay, what do you know?
Well, it does not qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. That is it requires
This, of course, is in the United States.
and currently, right, up until now, that has specified it has to be a 4-wheel vehicle, if I understand correctly. An Aptera is a 3-wheel vehicle. So,
And there's other things too where the parts have to be sourced in, I don't remember the exact wording, either in the U.S. or in a U.S. trade partner, something like that.
okay,
But I think on those 2 counts, you're right. It doesn't currently qualify.
right.
Yeah. But there is some things I found on the Aptera website about other things to think about, like where do you live? Because if you live in California, your state will give you up to $7,500 to buy an EV.
Nice.
Colorado,
Including Aptera.
it's electric. It's an electric vehicle.
Nice.
Yeah. Colorado up to $2,000. So you want to check with your state. Florida, a couple of different counties there can get a couple $100 to get your charger installed. We'll talk about Michigan in a moment, which we have personal experience with. Maine offers a lot of rebates, $1,000 for all residents, $35 for middle income residents, and $75 for low income residents. That would be us. Oh, let me see. There's other things. Maryland has a tax credit. Massachusetts has a tax credit. Washington State, check this out, exempts EV purchases from sales tax.
Nice.
That might be the biggest
That,
credit.
yeah.
That could be
That's
humongous.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there are some state-specific things that apply. And we talked about there the rebate off a charger installation in Florida. Ours is a little more generous here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Our power company, which is Consumers Electric.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Am I saying it right? It used to be Consumers Power.
Consumers Energy.
Consumers Energy. I told you. It just didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
They gave us a $500 check. Why? Because we bought a level 2 home charger that was on their list of approved level 2 home chargers. We also agreed to charge at night when rates are cheaper.
Yep. We had it professionally installed by an electrician.
And that professional installation got us another tax credit from the feds.
Yes, it did.
So our home charger was almost free. So look into those things, by the way. Don't just say no federal tax credit, so I can't afford it. You might be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the credits. So that's interesting question.
And don't
answer.
forget with Aptera, if you just want to talk about cost of ownership, I mean, obviously getting $7,500 off the top of your purchase would be great. But if you have a vehicle that you never have to charge, how much is that going to save you? A vehicle you never have to put gasoline into, you never have to take to the gas station. How much is that going to save you in driving that vehicle? So
yeah, they're hoping to see up to 40 miles.
Yeah,
in
but
good weather.
So
Solar powered range. Sorry.
Don't just think about rebates that are available at purchase. Also think about the overall cost of ownership and how that might benefit your wallet.
Yeah, so if you drive less than 40 miles a day and you live in, let's say, New Mexico, where you get 300 days of sun. So day one, you drive 30 miles. That means when you go to bed, before it even charged that day, or you used less miles than you gained.
Right.
And, of course, it's cumulative up till the battery's full.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to save money with the Aptera. So tax credit, it's a yes and no.
Maybe.
Yeah, yes, no,
Hard
and
maybe.
maybe. Yeah, check with your state, check with your power company, and let's find out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on a little bit from that. We're going to talk about EVs in general. We're going to come back to Aptera solar power electric car a little later, too, because it plays into this. But first, let's talk about Ford, and this is going to be short. Sarah, Ford announced that their new cars in 2025 will have the NACS,
NACS.
which, if you don't know what that means, where you plug in your electric car, most EVs, other than Tesla, use what's called a CCS, which is a big, bulky, but effective charger for when you're DC fast charging. That's the big chargers you use when you're on when you're on the road traveling. Other cars, not many, but like our Nissan Leaf uses what's called the CHAdeMO port, which is pretty much going extinct. So we're not going to bother talking about that.
Well, except to say that if you are looking to buy a used EV, pay attention to what is used to fast charge it, because CHAdeMO, you might not want to go with the CHAdeMO if you're going to be doing longer distance drives with it where you're going to need to use a fast charger.
Yeah, and all the cars that use the CHAdeMO charger, like our Leaf, don't get very good range anyway.
True.
So they're not great road cars. No. Doable, but not great.
Great grocery getter, though.
Yeah, but Ford announcing not only are they going to go with the NACS charger, which is the Tesla charger, they also have a deal with Tesla Brewing, like for real soon, where if you drive an electric Ford, you'll be able to charge at Tesla superchargers. Sarah, why is that a big deal?
It's a big deal because Tesla has outstanding infrastructure with their chargers. So, you and I, when we go with our little Leaf and we're looking for a CHAdeMO charger, we'll pull in where there's maybe 4 chargers for all EVs, 2 CHAdeMO, and then maybe 2 CCS, and then there'll be like 8 Tesla superchargers that charge fast and they're there. And sometimes we see just Tesla chargers. No other kind of EV can charge there up until soon.
Yeah, this means if you buy a Ford Mustang or a Ford Lightning pickup truck, you are not going to have range anxiety anymore. You're going to be able to charge your car if you take it on the road. This is a massive deal. Another big part of this is you don't have to go into the Tesla app to charge your Ford.
Right.
You'll be able to stay in your Ford app. And it's just, Ford's the second company to make this decision. And the first company is, of course,
Aptera.
Yes. And you and I talked about it, and we both said, well, that's dumb. Why would you go with the Tesla charger when all the public chargers are CCS?
Yeah.
And Tesla's not going to let you use their charger, we thought, with all of our wisdom and knowledge.
It seemed very elite and like it was going to be...
It seemed like the wrong decision for people that don't know much, which we readily admit.
Yes.
But Aptera, not only did they push it, but they actually lobbied for it. You know, they had petitions signed about this. This should be the standard charger.
Yeah.
And guess what's starting to happen? You know, Ford is the number 2 selling EV maker in America after Tesla. So now the 2 biggest EV makers are using the Tesla charging port.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that leaves GM out in the cold for now.
For now. Mm-hmm.
Leaves Volkswagen with the ID4 out in the cold, Nissan out in the cold. Mm-hmm. But Tesla has started to allow charging with for other vehicles with an adapter. Either supplied at the charger or bring yourself, depends on where you're at.
Which leads me to the question, what if I already bought a Mustang, a Mach-E? And now they're opening up these Tesla chargers, but that's not the charger my current Mustang has. Am I out in the cold? Does this do me no good? Do I need to sell it and get a new Mach-E?
Yeah, you need to sell it to me for a quarter of what you paid.
Yeah.
And then I'll buy an adapter for $150. But I'll still use the Tesla chargers.
You know exactly how many Mustangs I own.
Yeah, exactly. Not enough.
0.0.
Not enough. Great car.
But if anyone would like to gift me one, I would accept.
Yeah, okay, this is off the rails. But anyway, that's a big deal. That was a huge announcement. And that is, I think, we don't know much. I think that's going to shape the industry here in the United States.
Pretty exciting.
I think all EVs will start using the Tesla port soon.
Seems like it. Seems likely.
Yeah. Let's talk about some things you need to know, though, if this is your first electric vehicle. If you haven't driven EV and you're excited about the Aptera solar EV that's coming, you can't wait to get it, because we have polled people. Mm-hmm. We know for sure that many Aptera pre-order people have never driven an EV. Not all of them.
Right.
But many of them don't know the basics about an EV. So let's spend 2 minutes with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, let's start with your favorite thing.
My favorite thing, I think, is just how fun it is to drive, which comes with a note of caution because it does have very quick pickup, and Aptera and some of the more premium EVs that are a little higher echelon than our Nissan Leaf have like supercar fast pickup. And so you're going to want to know that before you get in the car and you're excited and you put your foot to the pedal, because it just goes, and it goes fast. And it's fun.
I'm picturing some brand new EV drivers picking up their Aptera for the first time, especially the launch edition, which will be all-wheel drive, the quickest of the Aptera variety. They got their Starbucks in their right hand, and then they just hit the gas, and now they're wearing their Starbucks,
Yeah.
and they've stained the seats on their brand new car, because it's going to go like, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, which nobody needs to do.
I don't recommend it.
So it's not like Aptera said, let's make the fastest, quickest car. It's not like that.
Right.
EVs have instant torque.
Yes.
There's no transfer of energy through a drivetrain, especially Aptera, who uses in-wheel motors. So even more so than other EVs, most of them, the power is right there. So be mindful of that. Also, what I like, Sarah, is the braking.
Yeah.
Because in our Nissan Leaf, I don't know when we're ever going to have to replace the brake pads, because there's so much motor braking, regenerative braking.
Right.
Where you take your foot off the gas and it just starts stopping. Now, you can't one-pedal drive the Nissan Leaf.
No.
It's just not aggressive enough, at least not the 2016. But like the mom's BMW i3 electric car, when you drive that, you can one pedal drive. That
Yep.
means you take your foot off the gas and it will come to a stop.
Yep.
And probably never replace the brakes, which I don't really want to do.
Yeah. Another thing that's fun about like our Leaf and your mom's BMW i3 and other EVs, I'm sure, is you can change modes. So you can drive in eco mode where you're getting the most efficiency that car will allow. So your battery gives you the longest range, but then it comes with some other limitations like your climate control, and that will have more aggressive engine braking. Or you can put it in a drive mode, which is a much sportier drive. You still get some engine braking, but less. And it's just fun. You can just kind of pick your driving experience all in the same car.
Yeah, and always just driving whatever the sportiest mode is.
Well, that's
I mean,
what you
for
do.
real. I mean, it just doesn't it's not worth it. I'll say 4 miles and drive I already drive like an elderly person. So now I'm getting passed by the people that, they got the little carts you drive around Myers,
Safety
Thrifty
first.
Acres grocery store. Yeah. So, yeah, but Sarah's very, very accurate as always. Maintenance. This is my favorite thing about our Nissan Leaf is I don't ever have to fix it. That has never been true of any other car Sarah and I have owned.
Ever.
I don't think my hands have ever been this clean.
Right.
Because usually they've got grease and oil all over them.
Yeah. And usually we get our newest used vehicle, and then Chad has some major repair that I have to help with, and I get an education on how to fix different parts of the vehicle. And I have learned nothing in repairing our Nissan Leaf. Nothing.
Yeah, we used to do our own oil changes. Well, you don't do oil changes with electric cars.
No oil in an EV.
I don't know. Okay, the one thing we've had to do with our Nissan Leaf is change the 12-volt battery.
Yeah.
That's the accessory battery, which is something you might not know also as an EV driver. It still has that 12-volt battery.
Right. That's what powers your radio, your headlights.
Yeah.
That it's the thing that goes dead if you leave your headlights on overnight.
Yeah, that's right.
Every car has that. EVs,
Yeah.
gasoline engines,
And a couple of
diesels.
them that we found are not very good at maintaining the charge on the 12-volt battery. In your gasoline engine, you have a belt that turns an alternator. The alternator runs the accessories and also pumps charge into the 12-volt. Well, in your Nissan Leaf or your BMW i3 or whatever electric car you're driving, it's charged when you plug it in, just like the big battery is charged when you plug it in. And then it can be maintained if necessary from the big lithium-ion battery that powers the motors and everything else. So in our Nissan Leaf, our 12-volt battery went dead at about 15,000 miles or something. Ridiculous. And my mom's BMW i3, same thing. It went dead in about 3 years from new. And to change the one in the Nissan Leaf took about 10 minutes.
right.
To change the one in the BMW i3,
It took a dealer.
it took a dealership. Yeah, so...
An approved shop.
But other than that, there's no maintenance to do on electric cars. We did have to replace the tires eventually.
Yeah.
Because we drive the tires off our Leaf because it's so much fun to drive.
Yep.
But there's no oil changes. There's no nonsense like that. And so let's get back to Aptera again.
Yeah.
Because this is a big selling point on the solar powered electric car when it comes to maintenance. That's called the right to repair,
Yes.
which is a term, I believe, stolen from cell phones.
Apple.
Yeah, Apple. Until recently, you couldn't repair your own Apple without
They do
destroying
not
your
have
warranty.
right to repair.
Right. So with the Aptera, let's say something does go bad. Let's say a suspension arm. I mean, some pieces will wear out in time.
Sure.
Let's say one of the in-wheel motors stops working
Right.
or something else. Well, on the Aptera, within 24 hours, they'll send you the part you need. And they're going to have QR codes all over these parts where you can scan it and watch a video on how to repair it.
Yes.
They want you to be able to work on your own car. Now, listen, everybody doesn't want to do that.
Right.
Which is
I'm
fine.
getting to the age where I would rather have someone else do it.
Yes.
Thank you anyway.
Yeah, so
It
there's
used to be fun. Now it's not as fun.
So there's going to be a situation where they're going to have service centers in some big areas where there's lots of Apteras. They also will send service people out. Also, just call me. I'll
Right.
just come do it. Give me $50 and an apple pie, and we're done.
Yeah. Well,
really
and
not a
I
big
think
deal.
they will make that information available to your local mechanic. You have somebody that you trust, and so you let them know that you're bringing in this vehicle. You have the right to repair. They might need some paperwork to verify that, so you don't come back and get mad at them about the warranty being void by the work that they did. and then just give them the information and the part and let them do it. They'll
That's right.
be able to do it.
Yep, Aptera will readily send them whatever instruction they need. Work with your personal mechanic.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. So something about electric cars, not much maintenance, and a lot of fun to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Aptera, even better, because when it does need maintenance, you can handle it yourself.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, this is a good time to tell you about the Mug Club. The Mug Club
Yay,
is
Mug
simple.
Club.
Sarah and I spent every dime we had and some dimes other people had in the family to fly to California for some Aptera footage, and you said you want more?
So that we could see the legit facility
Yeah.
where they are housed.
So we need to go back very soon, and it costs money, but we're not going to ask you for money. We're going to sell you mugs.
Yeah.
So if you go by drivenbysolar.com,
Yes.
drivenbysolar.com, buy a coffee mug with a design on it, designed by Sarah.
Yep.
And we're going to charge you more than you should have to pay for a mug.
No, I mean, not a ton
Not
more,
a ton.
but
What is
some
that like?
more.
How much are our mugs? I don't even remember. $24?
There's a couple of different varieties.
There's like three
there's
different varieties. Travel mug,
right. There's,
insulated travel mug. And what's the other one?
there's a tumbler,
Tumbler.
travel mug, insulated tumbler, and then just a regular, like 11-ounce
Yeah.
ceramic coffee cup mug.
Yeah, and right now we have several members of the Mug Club. We appreciate and thank them very much. Become a member.
Of the
Okay?
Mug Club.
Of the Mug Club. And that's it for this episode. In the link, or in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see links to like the microphones we use. Some
In
of the
the
other,
description of the...
in the description. What'd I say?
You said first you said the something, and then you said the comments.
In the no, not the comments. In the description.
Yeah, the
Sarah.
description.
Yeah.
No
You'll
comment.
You'll see links to like the computer we use to edit, the microphones we use. So if you want to buy any of those things and use them yourself, you can there. And then we get a kickback from Amazon, but it costs you $0 extra dollars. In fact, if you were to click on a link to the home charger we use, go to Amazon, but buy something totally different, like a box of macaroni and cheese.
A dog leash for your
Or a
dog.
dog leash
New
for your dog.
Cat bed for your cat.
Yeah, because of the way Amazon works, we'll still get a kickback on you buying whatever you buy that day.
Because they
If you
figure
used our
our
link.
link brought you to Amazon
Right.
where you made your purchases. So
So,
we
yeah.
think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, because the other day we got a kickback on juice box.
Yeah.
I thought somebody clicked our link and then bought juice boxes.
But not like an EV charger juice box
No,
like
just a
ours.
juice box.
Just
Just a juice-
actual
it's-
like Capri Sun.
And we made like 60 cents or something.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. There's also a link in the description to Bob Newchow's book,
Yes.
which he wrote now 4 books.
Yes.
So check those out if you're
Drive the
interested.
Sun.
And there's a link to buy Sarah coffee because she does not do much without coffee.
Yeah. And Bob's latest book is really neat because it's a compilation of things that he has worked on over many years. It tells a really complete story
Yeah.
of a life lived. It is and an artist expressing himself through his art. So it's really quite beautiful.
You're like the new Oprah's book club, Sarah's book club.
Yeah, except
Join
nobody
us for Sarah's
listens
book
to
club.
me. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you'd like to join Sarah's book club, buy Bob's book.
Okay, good. Last thing we're going to talk about. I get this a lot from people my parents' age. I got this just the other day when I was at work. Someone says to me, I can't drive EV because I can't find a charger or it's going to take me, I think this guy said it's going to take me an hour to charge. Here's something they never consider. And I tried to set them straight in a kind way because, old people. So I said, listen, here's the deal.
Because we're getting old and we'd like to be treated
I
in
wanna
a
be
kind
treated
way
that
when we say silly things that
So-
we don't understand.
I said, think of the car you have now, and every day when you leave the house in the morning, you have a full tank of gas. How many times are you going to have to go to the gas station? He said, never. Like, I don't ever go to the gas station either. Also, Sarah and I don't go to DC fast chargers.
Right.
We don't have to.
It's very rare.
Yeah. And, our
And
Nissan-
that's a planned trip. So then we
Right.
know that
It's
to
factored
look
in.
for them. We know where we need to find them and we've planned for that. But 360 days of the year, we don't need a fast charger.
Never. Right. Almost never. And then also the thing is when you have a low range EV, like people are afraid to buy a used EV like a Leaf or a BMW or a Golf, e-Golf. They think, well, or a Soul EV. I'm afraid I won't have enough mileage. Well, think about how much you drive and then consider the fact that you're going to wake up with a full tank. And then if you're going to go somewhere in the morning and then go somewhere again in the evening, you could also plug in at home again.
Yep.
when you get home from whatever, which we've done once or twice, not
Yep.
too often. But the fact is, if you just think of it that way, I wake up and my gas tank is full, will I have to go to the gas station?
Right.
For most people, almost never.
Right. You can do everything you have to do in a day, come home, and then charge up. You can set your charger so that it automatically charges overnight when electricity rates are lowest. So imagine you had a full tank of gas every day and it cost you maybe $3. Maybe $3.
Maybe, right? That's about what we pay, $2 to $3 a night. Mm-hmm. You know, and of course, we never park completely dead, or it wouldn't be here. It'd be in the street someplace.
We'd be pushing it up our hill.
So how am I going to plug it in when it's dead? You know. Okay. Anyway, now we're way digressing.
Yeah,
Right.
but the fact is, fast chargers and where they are a small factor to consider unless you have a long commute to work. But if you just need something, and if you do, maybe you have a car that you use for that. But if you want to use a EV to get your groceries, run your errands, it's a very fun way to drive. We use it for our recreation when we drive out to the lakeshore. Just fun.
All right. You all are very excellent people.
Yes.
And I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for being here with Drive the Lightning, the positively charged EV channel.